Hey there, Daddy Gang. It's John Nathan, back with engaging content for the battle lines of questioning within the concepts of wellness and unwellness. And as a focus of understanding for ourselves how we can be therapy based and trauma informed while processing information repeatedly and continuing to be able to engage with that type of content, that type of memento to self through entertainment or through engagement that says, we're all equal. We're all the same. We're all a part of the same construct going through very similar emotions about extremely different things at all different times. And to understand the over encompassing but manageable approach to the type of work that is means that we have to be able to understand that it happens, that we engage in it, and then to be able to pinpoint that out for ourselves individually that says, you know what, either this is what it is or my therapy is showing and we're better for it. And those around us that we can see doing that type of work and bringing that type of content and context to the world and to this type of engagement. Like there's version of education and slow processing that allow for you to learn and develop and grow emotionally through your own accord. Take several seasons of television or introduction I mean, that's what Sesame Street does. But as adults and as internet content users and creators and influencers and all of the people who know what that environment is like now, it's not Neopets anymore. It's a full-time channel for every individual, and you're either tuning in or you're not. And somebody who's been able to garner my attention through that process, whose therapy is not only showing, but is guided through, and has guided me through some emotional processing option, is Miss Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy, Gang Gang, like Daddy Gang, and the Unwell University of her own Unwell media and lifestyle branding content creation, universally for herself, creating an approach, a brand, a business, and a conversation piece of Call Her Daddy, the podcast, the Pennsylvania princess who brings insight, exposure, and posture to interrogation, investigation. Like we all want to know. And she comes with the questioning, the marketing, the networking, and the global importance that has that is it's a 360 view. In my opinion, it's informative, it's composed, and it is so approachable to the type of acceptance that we're not the best and allowing for what could be, looking forward to how to make it better, not living in the processing of the battle lines of unwellness. She understood the assignment when she brings forth the level of approach to what she means and what she can do, what is within her reach and grasp. Unwell hydration, like water production, being able to market to specific groups of women empowerment and a woman-owned business that's modeled toward a market that she saw could use her space and her explorative and explanative process and procedure through, I mean, through the podcast specifically. So my introduction to that was with her episode with Miss Jane Fonda. Was in a women empowered moment, probably sometime last year on World Someone's Day, and just remembering because Miss Jane Fonda does is attached to so many important rights campaigns and the longevity of her approach to things. And when you look at Miss Alex Cooper's insight and her ability to interview people, she has both context of I need to know and I already know that I could be doing better about the things that I know, because she brings the informative version of nostalgia that says like, don't just worship Grace and Frankie, Frankie and Grace. Know what Jane Fonda did for the people. Know what she has repeatedly been arrested. Like went in there with Daddy Ted Turner and told him, like, listen, give us some rights. Allow for people to have their own encompassing version of how to approach the things that are passionate about in the world. And for being that woman and for being somebody, the other version of that I was able to pinpoint together with the type of conversation, not just of like women visibility uh, visibility and awareness, but the approachable version of what the network of female empowerment and matriarchy can look like. Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus does that as well with her podcast, Wiser Than Me. It brings that. The Good Hang with Amy also, like within this world, has an informative and an alignment that says, almost like we've all had our fun, and now here's the things that we can do about that. And it lowers the expectation of living in misery and brings the realistic and unfiltered content of how to normalize. Like that's from her words, is normalizing personal struggles and insecurities. Actually, that's not her words. That was what AI said about the Wikipedia page. But like from the Unwell website, from the Unwell Hydration that she partners with Nestle Toulouse and brings to places where she would be found, like at Target, and bringing that's very 50 Cent, like this very Chelsea Handler, business savvy, that not just says like, oh, I need to do this. It's, hey, that's the landscape of marketing and branding at this time. It's education mixed with the understanding of I'm working on my therapy at all times. You can see that because she brings that to every conversation and question, every pop star, every juicy, like, how did I describe it? Sensational dish with satisfactory bites for a sensational approach to texture and temperature. This is the way that John Nathan would prescribe that her therapy is showing, but not just that the therapy is showing, but that she's making platform and space for other people to be able to have that same type of gossip dishy interview with their therapy showing and their perspective that is informed. And we're all older now, and it's the type of info that we want, not the thing that we need to be fed. Like I do need to know what Hillary Duff is doing, and I need to know how she's processed age in life. We have all grown into a place where we found the people's princess of informative and inclusive and a 360 view and in perspective and interpretation of what emotion and knowledge and history and explorative version. She's the Clarissa Explains It All of the Big 2-6, in my opinion. 20, I'm trying that on for size. I don't know how that's working, but 2026 and further. And we have many of those, but this is the one, Miss Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy. Your therapy and your presentation of what it can look like for others to be able to allow space, hold space, as they say, for whatever it is. Like that is a true thing, regardless of how you feel about what it means, because that's part of having to have your fucking therapy show, is that thing, as silly and cheeky as it is to say, is the thing you have to do no matter how you fucking feel about it. And nobody is just designed to want to be excited about making that. That's the hard work. We work much harder on the presentation of not having that, but it looks like that. And that's society. That's social work. And we're good at that kind of thing because there is a version of it, and we do have an expectation of what it's supposed to approach and look and be like. And when it's not, then we can call that back of house, like behind the curtain. Miss Alex Cooper gives us the content and the unfiltered personal struggles of herself through every fucking relation. It is like not the ADD, but the like, oh, also here's my version of that. And it's informative and it's processed, and it's processed with a purpose. So from my perspective, I appreciate her. I bring her playlist and episode from my appreciation of what I've gathered from my several episodes of Call Her Daddy, but most recently rewatching Jane Fonda. That one is attached to our website. That is to me, one of the most informative and most professional versions of interview that I've witnessed. But seeing every version of that from Alex Cooper, where it can come and go and wax and wane depending upon who it is, but that the epitome of that Anderson Cooper 360 like version of that she can bring to the table with the still approachable and metabolic, like processable Clarissa Explains It All aesthetic that we all need to learn about how to be well and how to be working on it, how to let that therapy show, how to be ourselves in the process.